Okay.
For those of you who use a dowsing instrument that often, too late, you're already hooked.
Yep.
What is dowsing? Dowsing is using a little-known ability of the subconscious to locate consciously unseen objects or energies and convey that information to the conscious mind using mechanical devices. There is no magic in the devices. They're simply metal or things with string on them. There's no magic in them. You are the magic. Dowsing ponderings. This is very interesting. This is an Israeli soldier at a Hamas tunnel in 2016 when the Israelis were blowing out the tunnels that were going under the wall. The video repeats several times to catch the quick image I captured off the TV. What is he doing? Watch this very closely. Come on, start. Now you son of a gun. You're going to do it to me, aren't you?
That's what he meant. It was so
Back
quick
it
I
up.
didn't see anything change.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and of course, about that time is when the computer locks up.
Of course.
Yeah. There you go. You see what he's doing?
No.
It's
He's
going
got-
back and forth.
he's got
He's going back and forth.
It's a
He's,
pendulum.
yeah, he's using a pendulum.
To see if that's the way to go.
If that's
He's
the safe way
using
to
a
go.
pendulum. He's dowsing for ambushers,
Explosives.
explosives,
Yeah.
deadfalls, or anything dangerous. Now let me tell you, those troops going into that tunnel trust him. He is more than 90% accurate with that dowsing, with the pendulum. Their lives depend on him. I saw the same thing in Vietnam. The Army guy, Marines primarily, they taught the Army. Big coat hangers. They'd be walking along, and then one guy would say, okay, any tunnels around here? Okay, and he'd follow it. Like this, and then he'd get to the tunnel and he'd say, oh yeah, there's the door. Kick it open, throw a hand grenade in, close the door and go on. Well, I lost my little tie, but that's all right, I'll find it later. So, that's what that was about. If you believe you can or you believe you cannot, you're absolutely correct. Isn't it about time you unplugged that blabbermouth in your head? Here's brainwave frequencies. This is very interesting. This is beta, the normal outer conscious level, 30 down to 13 hertz. Alpha is meditation. That's in your 13 hertz down to 8 hertz region. And that's this bar across here. Theta, 7 to 4 down here. And deep sleep is delta, right down there. 0 to 4 hertz. 0 is dead, of course. Normal waking, you're up there in the beta region. Every once in a while you'll dip down into alpha, but not very often. Most people. You're falling asleep, you're in the alpha region, and then you go into theta, and then down to deep sleep in deep delta. Then you'll come back up into the alpha region for rapid eye movement or dreaming. In TM meditation, they're able to maintain both alpha and theta at the same time. Zen meditation, they're a little bit of beta, conscious awareness, while they're meditating. Dowsers, walking around, locating water, or finding energy, are in high beta, high alpha, high theta, and high delta, all at the same time, and don't even know it. You're just finding water, or energy. This is how the brain itself operates. And I find this very fascinating because I did a lot of brainwave work while at Unity. I love this. No such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Well, that didn't work. Damn it. Let's go again, try again. Action creates confidence and certainty. The more you practice in dowsing, the more accurate you'll get and the more certainty you have that your dowsing is accurate. By the way, before you begin dowsing, you should clear yourself and begin talking with your subconscious and tell it you always want the truth and accuracy. Your subconscious won't lie to you if you tell it you want truth. You have to stay focused on this stuff. Remember your primary goal. Well, your initial project is to drain the swamp. It's difficult to remember to drain the swamp when you're up to your butt in alligators. You only have two things in life, reasons or results. Reasons don't count. You can douse for anything. Okay, that was the lead-in. Dottie, you missed the movie.
I missed the booty?
Movie.
Oh, the movie. Sorry.
I'll run it again for you, just real quick.
Okay, thank you. Anybody mind seeing it again?
It's
No,
real
I mean,
quick.
It's like a
short.
whole 2.5 seconds.
Oh, it's old.
You gotta watch
Ah.
that.
Can you see around my hat, Jen?
Yeah. There you go.
Here you go, watch this. What's he doing? This is the Hamas tunnel. This is an Israeli soldier at a Hamas tunnel in 2016. That's a pendulum.
You're kidding. Look at
No,
that.
I'm not. That was on TV.
Wow. Wow.
What was he doing?
Trying to find his way out?
Looks like. Oh,
Ah, of course.
help your intelligence.
Yes, did you do that?
8.
As I was telling the rest of them, this guy's 80 to 90% accurate because the troops going down in that tunnel, their lives are in his hand. They depend on him. When he says there's ambushers down there, they know there's ambushers down there. If he says it's clear, they're pretty sure it's clear, but they know he's at only 90%, so they're at high alert. Okay, now we'll go back to where we were.
Thank you.
Well, you've seen this one from Marge's,
Yes.
and that was brainwave. Yeah. I love this one.
Yeah.
You can douse for anything.
Yeah.
Oh, now, to clear yourself, the way that I was taught, you have your own method. If you have your own method, use it. But the way I was taught was close your eyes and picture yourself in a stream of white light coming down from the heavens. Now you guys can do this if you wish. I'm going to read this. Imagine a shift of white light that's entering from the crown of your head and traveling all the way down to your feet and beyond. Imagine while this light's traveling through your body, it's cleansing out every single cell within your body and releasing all the tensions you might feel, all the negative emotions, and all the negative vibrations that you might have picked out throughout the day. Say, I now release all of the negative thoughts, emotions, vibrations I might have consciously or subconsciously picked up throughout the day, and send it into the light for healing and transmutation, and instead fill my body, my heart, and my soul with love, light, patience, understanding, and the ability to douse all situations, or this situation. You can use all or this, doesn't matter. Thank you. Let the rain of blessings fall. This white light surrounds you now for 360 degrees, and it is permanent. You have now protected yourself with the white light. A 360-degree bubble, including under your feet. You don't have to renew it. All you have to do is polish the dust off once in a while and maybe buff it if you get in a close call.
Smitty, can we read that out loud?
Huh?
Can we read that out loud?
Yeah,
Is
I'd
there
like to.
something, right now, can we
Sure.
read that out loud?
All of
Okay.
you. If you close your eyes, I'll read it for you.
No, we want to read
We
it.
wanna
since
You
it's
read it
part-
out loud,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, all together? Can
All
we do that?
together.
Okay.
I now release all negative thoughts, emotions, vibrations I might have consciously or subconsciously picked up throughout the day and send it into the light for healing and transmutation. And instead, fill my body, my heart, and my soul with love, light, patience, understanding, and the ability to accurately douse this situation. Thank you. Let the rain of blessings fall.
Thank you.
Okay. Now buff it out once in a while. This is what dowsing can be used for. Besides the obvious, water, minerals, oil. By the way, there's a guy by the name of Rob Thompson. He was awarded the Dowser of the Year last year through the American Society of Dowsers. He works up around Napa. He used to douse for water, and he had his own drilling company. And what he now douses is oil. He's 80% accurate. Geologists are only 40% accurate. Dowsing can be used to map douse, communicate with plants, communicate with various energies that are inherent in the earth. Apparently there's also some energies that are not inherent in the earth. I learned plant communications from Dr. Marcel Vogel, IBM physicist and plant communicator, which he learned from Cleve Baxter. Cleve was the gentleman that hooked up the polygraph to a plant and discovered that the plant had reactions to what he was thinking. When he decided, oh, we need another chair. There's a chair there.
Oh, it's Corky's, isn't it?
Yeah, but where is she?
Where is she? sir?
I see her.
She's running amok, I bet you.
There you go.
It's over here.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Amok.
Okay. When he thought about cutting a leaf, the polygraph went crazy. And when he thought about taking a cigarette lighter and burning that leaf, it really went crazy. I saw the tapes of that. Okay. How about checking the freshness of food? You were saying, Carol? Mineral supplements, vitamins, even gasoline for your car.
I do.
How about determining if your body actually can assimilate the vitamins or supplements, let alone the medications you're taking? How about getting answers from your subconscious mind about situations in your body, mind, environment, relationships, or even your spiritual progress? What you cannot do with dowsing is tell the future. You can't read anybody else's mind either, darn it.
Before GPS, we used to do a lot with the map
Yeah.
to figure out what direction we were supposed to go
Yes.
in. You know? Yeah.
Let me tell you, I love maps before GPS. I navigated all over Europe and the Far East in a car with them. I couldn't even read the language. I said, go this way, round that way, and there's this funny looking printing on this sign. When you match those characters with that sign, turn left.
So when you talk about dowsing for gasoline for your car, is that to find out if this gas is good for my car?
If it's good for your car, if there's water in it. Now, a lot of times these tanks underground, they condense water, and it's not always pumped out. They're supposed to clean those tanks out, I think, every 6 months. Not all stations do. The old man used to work at a gas station. Oh, Dottie, I told him that they can use anything for dowsing, including a nut on a piece of string.
That's what-
Never use this in public.
They think you're nuts.
They'll say there's a nut on both ends of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
string.
yeah, that's true.
Okay. Dowsing instruments can be used to get answers from the subconscious about blocks, hindering one from receiving answers to prayers or programs. We're going to be going over into this in more depth in the advanced. Dowsing instruments can also be used to clear up confusions between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, such as, is there an emotional block or reason I am having trouble with my whatever, fill in the blank, health issue. Then ask for an answer or an image to be brought before the conscious mind's eye. The dowsing instrument should answer yes or no if on the question, is there. Many times, even though the dowsing rod or the dowsing instrument won't move, you'll go to get a quick flash of an image in your mind. If you're paying attention, you'll find out that that's the answer. It's just right there. There's many times I'll be walking around the house, I'll be looking for something, or I've got a situation that I want to fix, and I'm thinking, now how am I going to do that? And I'll get this little ding, and there will be a certain tool or something that I could use. It's not made for that, but I can use it. I go, oh, thank you, and go get it. It's astonishing how brilliant your subconscious is, even if it is a 7-year-old. The dowsing instruments can also be used to get answers as to why one may be having emotional problems in a relationship. Here's a situation. They're over there doing something that they're doing and you're getting very angry. What I want you to know is that what they're doing is what they're doing, what you're feeling is what you're feeling, the two are not related. You got a problem. They're simply doing what they're doing. You can find out what the problem is using your pendulum. It's you, it ain't them. Dowsing instruments do not allow one to read another's mind. This instrument also does not allow predicting the future or making someone else do your bidding. The only answers one gets is from one's own subconscious mind about one's own problems. Remember, it's not them, it's you. They're doing what they are doing. You're feeling what you're feeling. The two are not related. They are not forcing you to feel this way. Anytime I hear someone come up and say, they make me so angry, and my temptation is, did they put a gun to your head? He made me fall in love. Oh, really? Did he twist your arm? Before doing any dowsing work, always clear yourself first. Clear your workspace, your clients, finally your instruments. The best way to clear your instruments if you're using dowsing rods is this. And then touch the ground. Any negativity in them or any negative energy will go to the ground. Now a lot of people won't let other people use their instruments. I put a spell around these, a protection. They're covered in white light, my white light. Anybody can touch it. Their energy won't transfer to them because I won't allow it. Anybody that says you can't use my instrument because your energy will contaminate it is allowing that. It's them, it ain't me.
Can you show how you cleared the tool again?
Rub it with your hand.
Just
After you cleared yourself.
Okay.
Because that changes the energy level within that atomic structure. What you're doing is creating a static charge. And you're pulling all of it out. Do you touch the ground and it discharges? Bad news, I cannot teach you to douse. Sorry, we'll refund all your money. I can't teach you to become what you already are. You're already a dowser, you just don't know it yet. Learning is finding out what you already know. Doing is demonstrating that you know it. Teaching is merely reminding the others that they know it just as well as you do. Always listen to the experts. They'll tell you what cannot be done and why. Then go do it. Do's and don'ts. Here, there seems to be a lot of right and wrong personal questions or ideas. Seems to be a lot of right or wrong ways of using any given instruments. Anytime I run into somebody that says, you've got to hold it this way and hold your tongue that way and cross your legs or it won't work, they're right. That's the way they got to do it. It won't work any other way for them. If you believe your way is the only way, or you believe that their way is the false way, your way is the only way that will work for you. If you believe there are many ways to achieve the end result, then there's many ways to achieve the end result. Keith Smith. Now Blazer, let's dowse. L-rods. Making the rods. The two bent wires are made out of any material you care to use. The material content itself is immaterial, as long as it'll bend and stay rigid after you bend it. Coat hangers work wonderfully well. Some people call these angle rods, I call them L-rods. These can be made, I prefer to put a little tube on them to hold them in place. I bought these and selling them in the back. These are quite accurate. I can dowse energy levels, I can dowse water. For example, oh really, okay, third energy level of Dottie's aura. Right there. That's your third level. There's 7 levels that I can sense. There's many more levels I've been told. I can sense 7. Your third level is there.
Wow.
Second level. Right there. First level. This is the inner level. Right there.
Wow.
Now, anytime a stranger gets too close, this is when they're in with you, or you be their personal space, and most people start feeling uncomfortable. Dottie just feels more comfortable.
Bring it on.
Yeah. That's why I hug them.
How to hold them. This is important. You're supposed to change. Thank you. The short arm of the L rod is held, it should be held in a loosely clenched fist. I prefer actually not to clench them too much. I just hold them lightly like this. Sometimes I even hold them like this. These are fairly sensitive. This is a pair built by Bob Mahaney, designed by a man called Joachim Whippich. These are really sensitive. I bought this one in 1973. There's the edge of Dottie's aura. What's your name? Margie. There's your fourth level. Third level. I can feel it right there. It's not moving. Okay. Third level. Right there. Second level is right behind it. Yeah. First level, right there. Everybody has a different level depending on the mood you're in. If your angry is really out there, now let me tell you, your energy is impacting everybody around you even if you don't say a word. I prefer to have some kind of sleeve on the short arms. Here we go. That's how you hold them. And hold them down about 10 degrees from the horizontal. Reason for that, if you're walking out in a field and you're trying to hold these dead level, they'll be all over the place as you're walking. If you're holding them down a little, the weight will hold it down to where they'll keep them pointed. But when you come across the object you're looking for, will it be a water or something, they will cross. Your subconscious mind will cause micro tremors of the muscles. You won't consciously know it, but these things will cross. And it astonishes people when they do.
Keith,
Yes.
are we going to get handouts of what you're talking about here?
I don't have these on the handout.
Okay.
They're controlled by the inward, outward, and upward, downward wrist movement, but you won't be consciously aware of it. There we go. Dowsing permissions. Some people feel that they have to have permission, and, well, may I means, do I have the appropriate permission from whatever metaphysical or religious source I need permission from to proceed or be involved? And there's a reason for this. Can I means, do I have the ability to successfully dowse in this area, and am I ready today at this moment. What you're doing is checking out your own ability. Should I? This is the gotcha. Considering all aspects related to this situation, would it be appropriate, proper, and suitable to douse in this area? At the conference last year, there was a woman that douses for a living. She douses water wells. This gentleman in Vermont called her. He wanted to find a water well on his property. She went out, got her dowsing rods out of the car, and starts out across the field and finds water. And this guy is really happy. And the neighbor comes over and says, "What you doing?" He says, "Well, we're dowsing for water and I'm going to drill a well here." He says, "No, you're not. That's my property." She didn't do the clearing. She didn't do the may I, can I, should I. He lost his water and she lost her check. Search patterns and procedures. I want you to look at this real careful. You're looking for a pipe, and these are the results you get. As you're walking along, you're sticking a little piece of a stick or something in the ground. You're marking it somehow. And this is the pattern you get. Would that tell you where a pipe is underground?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the pattern again. What do you see? Is there anything there that would make you think you found the pipe? Look at it again.
Mm-hmm.
The one going up on this side? Or the one going down on that side? Yeah,
Yep.
those two.
Good
That's what I
job,
saw.
Polly. Yeah, that's
Two
what
pipes.
good.
And you were finding the outer edges of either one. A lot of times you'll do that. You'll find that this, as you're moving up, see, he's coming across and turning this way. I left the turn marks out of that one. I drew these. These are false positives, noise reactions. And you will have them, because there's something under there that's a subconscious sense that it may be of similar material. It could be a higher iron content in rock. But watch out for the false content, false positives if you're looking for a PVC pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you can douse PVC pipes that are not carrying water. I've done it.
You can.
Yeah, you can douse for anything.
So did that person put a flag?
Yeah, you put a flag when you find it. Every time
so
you
that
cross
there's
it,
a
you
line
put
of flags. Okay.
your gardening sticks, the little green sticks.
So does it become a matter of intention then, of what you're dowsing for? Because,
Yes.
you know, so when my friend was still alive, Kathy, and she was still with us, we used to use dowsing rods to check our house for entity,
Yes,
to see if there was anything there that needed to be cleared.
yes. You had that experience, didn't you, Magic? Y rods. These are Y rods. They started, original ones were willow forks, or
Thank you.
forks of a branch. My Uncle Dan didn't use them, but my Uncle Charlie had to. Uncle Dan didn't have to, he just went like that and found it. Uncle Charlie had to do this to find the water. Now, if I'm looking for water and I imagine there's water down there, and as I'm coming along, it will snap down. For some people, if you're looking for metal, they snap up. You'll notice I'm holding it off to the side. I don't care to get my glasses broke.
Yeah. I can understand that.
This is how you make them. Careful climbing a tree to find the fork.
Mm-hmm.
My kid brother fell out of one. Broke his arm from there to there. Oh, and when you're not dowsing, you can use it for a slingshot. That's the rounded section or a flat strip, that's how you hold it. I found that now, I start out by holding them down with the thumbs up, like this. And then twisting my wrist outward, bring the rod up. So that now it's in the sensitive position. Some people actually do it like that so it's crossed. So it's more sensitive to them. They put their hands together. And when it goes down. Well, for me, that hurts my knuckles. So I don't do it that way. I learned. I don't hurt myself very often. not deliberately anyway. And this is when it comes back, it really comes back, so you gotta be careful. with
Oh,
this.
yeah, that'd bob you right
Break
in
your
the head.
glasses, yes. And that's holding them slack and taut, how to get them. Pendulum, here we go. I use the pendulum most of the time, because for one thing, I can carry it in my pocket. You can carry it in your purse. Anyway, I'm missing one, I think it's in the
Oh,
drawer at home.
I borrowed one.
I'm sorry?
I borrowed one, I don't know if that's the one you're looking for.
Yeah, this, just holding it up, I hold it about, some people like to hold it on a long line. For me, that's a slow response. I like it fast. So what I do is just drop it down and hold it about right there. Give me a yes, please. No, please. That's how I start. When I do a yes, please, and a no, please, I've automatically cleared myself. My subconscious knows we're going to go into a dowsing mode to clear all the negativity and anything that's in the road out and douse. That's how I was trained using Max Freedom Long's Secret Science at Work book. I learned all of this from a book. I didn't know I was dowsing all my life. I learned to use the pendulum from a book. I didn't know all of this rigmarole about may I, can I, should I. But it's very important to a lot of people. For some people, a yes is like this and a no is like this. Others, it's clockwise is a yes and counterclockwise no. Personal preference. Again, I've had people say, oh no, it's got to be a circle. If it's not a circle, it's not working right. Well, okay, that's correct for you, but me, yes is this way.
Keith?
Yes.
That's all right. No, it was a statement. I was told one time that a circle just means not yet or
Maybe.
it's unclear
Yeah.
as
That can
of
be,
now.
that's for them.
Yeah,
For me, when I get a circle, it's rephrase the question, stupid.
could be that too, yeah.
Yes, Carol.
When I get a circle, if it's clockwise, it's putting energy into a situation, like love or something. When I get counterclockwise, it's taking out the negative.
Well, that's good.
That's me,
Yeah, that's a good one. You can program yourself for that, by the way.
yeah.
Any particular motion you're not using in your dowsing for yes, no, or maybe, then you can use, well, you can use even those. You can use, okay, now we're going to program, I want you to check and see if there's love in that situation. Give me a yes or a no. If there's no love in that situation, give me a yes and put some in. Excuse me. I have unabashedly stolen the following pendulum information from A Letter to Robin by Walt Woods. That little pamphlet contains far more detailed information on dowsing than I could even begin to cover in an all-day workshop. Now, read the following 6 steps all the way through. This is right straight from his book. This is just so you have an idea of what you'll be doing. You can download this off of the internet. Look for A Letter to Robin and download it. Believe me, it's worth every penny you'll pay to download it. It's free. Just have an idea what you're doing. You don't need to study them. Just become familiar with it, with these processes. Go back and seriously go through them one step at a time. Here we go. Relax, become quiet, and drift into a prayerful mood. When you do that, you drop into the alpha state. You can set and program yourself to drop into the alpha state by touching these 3 fingers together. I am now in the alpha state. I learned this in Silva Mind Control. I am now in the theta state. Oops. And I'm still vertical. Now, step 2, take your pendulum. Any pendulum will do. Hold the string or chain between the thumb and first finger. Hold it about 1.5 to 3 inches in length. This is personal preference. As I said before, there's a lot of people like it real long. For them, that's their accuracy. Others like it short, like me. The length of the string length will determine how fast it'll swing. Hold the pendulum over the center of this chart. This chart is this one. If it swings on a diagonal line, you're ready for the question, yes or no. This I use for training students and getting them to learn to operate a pendulum. Later on, if they prefer, they can change the yes to a circle, clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever they prefer. Okay, come on.
That's a snazzy briefcase you have there.
Yeah. This is a letter to Robin. I stapled it on the wrong end. You download that, and they've got this charts. They've got a lot of charts, but a couple of good, really good charts in here. This chart you can use for all kinds of things. And by the way, you don't use a pendulum for just yes and no. You can do percentages. You've got it operating straight. This is positive, this is negative. Every morning I set up and I go, okay, give me a yes please, give me a no please. Now, I want my percentage of prosperity, I want a percentage of my prosperity health right now, today. I'm doing 80%. Because I've got the chart in my head. I know what it projects down to on the ground. If it's less than 80, I get it up to 80. You ask me why 80? Well, I'm not sure what would happen if I did 100%. Now, wait a minute. We did that, but we're going backwards. Okay. There we go. Step 3. Manually, by moving your hand and fingers, make the pendulum start swinging toward the S. This is teaching. This is training yourself, learning how to use the pendulum. For most of you in here, you won't have to do that. But for those of you that don't know, ask and expect it to keep swinging on its own without your help. Once it does, in the same speaking voice and tone as talking to a person, tell it you expect it to start swinging and keep swinging on its own as a yes answer. If it stops, start over again. Ask it to keep going. Watch only the upper half or the forward half of the pendulum swing and ignore the bottom half. The top half of that swing on that chart is what's giving you your answer. By the way, the pendulum won't swing only halfway and stop. Repeat until the pendulum keeps swinging on its own. You will be deliberately starting the pendulum and then asking it to keep swinging with no additional help from you. You are training your system to act in a predetermined way. Do the same thing on the no. Your fingers are still over the center of the circle on that chart. Once it's swinging by itself to the no, ask it while it's still swinging to work its way clockwise back to the yes. And then swing on the ready for question. Ask it to work its way counterclockwise from the ready for question to yes and then no. Do this several times. All you're doing is training yourself to operate your pendulum. Those are the basic pendulum controls you'll need at this stage. The others will be automatically programmed into your dowsing system in the next steps. If you can do the above steps, you are well on your way to learning to use the pendulum to dowse. You're now ready to proceed. Please note that this procedure can usually be done all by yourself simply by using these directions, although it's sometimes very helpful when getting started to have an experienced dowser help you. If you're not able to accomplish the above in 15 minutes, stop. The subconscious is not working with you. There may be a reason. It may be tired. It may feel overtaxed. Try again in a couple of hours, maybe the next day. Don't give up, try again. Before continuing to steps 7 through 10, you'll need some understanding about programming your dowsing system, its purpose. See the page after the chart for the section on programming. Like I said, I stole this out of the book. Everybody ready? Okay. There's that chart. This is a really good one. B is balanced. N is for neutral, M is mild, S is severe or strong. See the S right there? And neutral or balanced is the pendulum swinging this way. If it's swinging mild that way, it's minus. It's negative.
Where's the D?
Be up under the S.
VS is very strong. Right there, VS.
B.
B,
B is
right
a
under
boy.
the S.
B is balanced or neutral.
Oh, it's, okay,
Balanced.
I see it, thank you.
Minus is loss, decrease, less than, or deficiency. Plus is excess, import, improved, increase, or surplus. Numbers may be in percents, degrees, or amounts. So you can do percentages here. On a scale of 0 to 100, what is the percentage of purity of this, whatever it is? And you get 70%. So you'll know whether it's good for you or not, whatever you're looking for. Like you said, Carol, 70% in the refrigerator, I'd toss it.
Have you ever seen any of Robert Getzler's work?
No.
Oh, he has charts for everything.
Well, believe me, there's a million charts. There's a million charts. This was a very basic, yes, ma'am.
If only the top half of the swing counts, how
Yes.
do you read the bottom? What do
You can use that as, you can go right on around counting 1 through to 30. So you could go 30%, or you can use 10, 20, 90. You can use the bottom half also. You ignore the top half.
How do you know? I mean, if it's swinging
You're
pretty
telling
wide.
it which way you want it to read, to indicate. You tell your subconscious, we'll use the bottom half of the chart today. And then you look at the bottom swing.
Oh,
But normally I only use the top half.
okay.
Most of the time I've already cut the bottom half off and thrown it away.
Okay.
A key step. The purpose of programming is to achieve maximum accuracy. This is done by establishing with your dowsing system some mutually acceptable, pre-established agreements and understandings about words, phrases, conditions, and what is meant by different pendulum or dowsing tool movements. You have to be very careful with your wording of your questions or statements to the subconscious. It is literal. It follows your orders, literally. Every time you tell it, oh God, I don't feel, this, that, or the other, you're going to feel this, that, or the other, sooner or later, especially if you keep repeating it. Your subconscious is anxious to please. Its sole purpose is to please you. Well, that's one purpose. The other purpose is to protect you. It will kill you to protect you because it knows you can't really be hurt. I ought to know.
Well, but you sure can think yourself pretty hurt.
If you succeed in getting your pendulum to move to yes and no and back and forth between them and have practiced a little bit, you're now ready to proceed with programming your dowsing system. Get that letter to Robin. It is magical, really. The programming instruction page for all of the overall ideas. Here it is. It's very easy. A, obtain permission. With your pendulum swinging and the ready for question on that diagonal on the yes-no chart, you may use the pendulum form on the next page. Ask the dowsing system the following question. May I, can I, should I? Then establish, change, or add dowsing conditions and agreements or programs which will continually be in effect until changed by me. You don't always have to do the may I, can I, should I. If you set it up using these statements, when you first start, when I begin dowsing in the field for another person, if when I am asking a question for finding something and you give me a continual no, I will know I am not to do that now. You will give me a yes when it is correct and permissible to continue. And then you wait. You will get a yes up here. We may not know the reason why there's a hold. The energy may not be right, for one thing. For another thing, certain, well, like I said, conditions, physical conditions have to change. For all I know, that cloud may have to move to that one, I don't know. To input or establish a program with the pendulum still swinging to yes, read any developed program, change, or addition, and finish by saying, end of prearranged conditions and agreements, thank you. Or simply say, end, thank you, end of program, thank you. That's what I did. That's how I set that up, so that if I go out to douse, and all I get is a no, I know I'm not supposed to do it. I've done the may I, can I, should I, and I've gotten a no in one of them. I don't need to know which one. It's just, no, don't do it now. Final check. Ask the dowsing system. Are the conditions or changes acceptable as presented, being clear and non-contradictory, and open to change by my request? If yes, you're finished. If no, use the pendulum and find out why. Here's how I'm using a pendulum to locate a pipe. He's using a circle as a neutral, forward as a neutral, and as he gets up to the pipe, it starts swinging in a circle. That's a wide pipe, by the way.
Well, I,
Yeah, that's the one they're putting under the Indian Nation. Neutral, seen from above. Well, that's my yes, but... come on, change. There we go. Directional reaction of a pendulum. It can swing in a circle, or you can change the direction. That's really hard to indicate on a top view. Do you know what a sample is, or a witness? It's an object you hold in the hand that you're looking for. You're going to hold a piece of gold in your hand. You're going to hold a glass tube that's got water in it if you're looking for pure water. You hold one of those things, except it's hard to hold while you're holding a dowsing rod.
so is that telling it this is what I want?
Yep. It's exactly what you do. There's the sample tube right there, and here it is right there. Now, inside that tube is what you're looking for. Pure water, or a mineral, oil, or whatever it is. By the way, you can use these L rods to find, or your pendulum to find lost objects. Can't find your car keys. Okay, where did I leave them? Go that way. Use your hand as an indicator, the pendulum or the L rod. I like the L rods better. Where's the car keys? Thank you. It will point in the direction. Your subconscious knows where it is. It's got an attachment to that. It's got a, well, the Hawaiians called it the aka cord. It is an energy cord attached to everything you own. Once you learn to do this, your low self or your subconscious will sort out that cord and take you to it. If you're really sensitive, you can literally just turn and know which direction to go. Your subconscious will stop your body from moving, and then you go in that direction. The rest of us engines got to do this. This is a sample using a pendulum. It's hollow. Answering questions.
Wait. If
Yep.
it's hollow, then you can use it as a sample or a witness?
You
Yep.
put stuff in
You
it.
can put stuff in it?
Yeah,
Oh.
it is half screwed together.
Okay, thank you.
Now here
Hold on,
is,
hold on, hold on.
yeah, hold on.
Hold on. If you use a hollow pendulum, you are looking for something hollow.
Nope.
No, you're looking for
They
whatever
put
you have.
inside that hollow pendulum what you're looking for,
Okay.
like water, or gold, or a coin, or some type of mineral, a gem, whatever you're looking for.
Okay.
Can you take a piece of a man's hair and put it in there and find a man?
I wouldn't know about that.
Find some hair.
I ain't touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
Well, I was hoping maybe I'd get more hair back if I did.
Well, there's that too. Answering questions. Now, again, right hand, that's showing the neutral and circle. counterclockwise for no, clockwise for yes, and then neutral again. But the neutral is, when I drew this, I knew what that meant. I forgot. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a neutral again. That's a yes, that's neutral, that's a no, that's a yes, and that's back to neutral. Or, this could be a yes, that's, I don't know, rephrase the question, no. You have to make your own code. And with the left hand, it would just be the opposite. All you lefties are always backwards.
Or
Markers.
they're always in their right mind.
That's right.
You can use your instrument as a marker. You just have to remember where it was on the ground.
One of these,
Where are those?
you can get them at a hardware store, Orchard Supply,
Yeah, Orchard Supply
or
has it.
whatever,
You just walk along and every time you get a positive indication, you put it in the ground.
you know.
You can use your finger as a marker. And you just draw an X.
Oh, good.
I saw it in Vietnam. They're walking along looking for the Viet Cong tunnels. You can do this, you go. You come in from another direction, hit it across. You do that. Or he'd stomp around till he found the door, the camouflage wooden door. In Thailand, in Korat, Thailand, I saw an army guy come in, he was visiting his brother in the Air Force. This lieutenant was out in the field with a bunch of Thai people digging up holes. And we walked over to see what was going on. The lieutenant said, "We've got a leak in one of the oil pipes from the oil storage out to the pumps. We can't find it. He's got the blueprints for where the pipes are running." But what had happened is when they were laying the pipe, they ran into a ridge of rock, so they moved the pipeline, didn't change the blueprint. Happens all the time. This army guy says, "Hell, I can find your pipe for you, Lieutenant." The guy says, "Yeah, I'll bet you a case of scotch you can't." He says, "You're on." So he tells his brother to go to the barracks and get him a couple of wire coat hangers. Yeah, we had him in there. So he did, he cuts them, he's walking along like this, and he goes, draw an X, comes in from the other side, draws an X. Lieutenant says, "What the hell?" He says, greater than 5 feet? Yep. Greater than 6 feet? Yep. Greater than 10 feet? Nope. 7 feet? Yes. 8 feet? Nope. He says, "It's 7 feet right there, Lieutenant." Lieutenant says, "It can't be. It's supposed to be over there." He says, "That's your leak. I'll take my case of scotch now." The lieutenant says, "Well, wait till we dig." They dug down, it was 7 feet 2 inches. That's where the leak was. He was that good. He found Viet Cong tunnels with the L rods. You can use a probe.
What's a probe? Oh, like a stick?
Yeah, stick,
And?
some, yeah. Well, don't use your pen, you'll probably get dirt in the tip.
Chopstick would be.
Yeah, chopstick is a good one.
Now, what is this
You,
talking about?
you're finding the location of the object underground. You found something, maybe it's a ring somebody's lost. It's been covered over by dirt. So you use it, you found it with the pendulum, you're marking the spot, you stick the probe in,
Oh,
then you start digging. Now, you can use your line of sight. There's reasons you don't want to go in there.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes?
So for that leak, what kind of question would he ask? Did he ask where is the leak, or what did he ask?
I'm sorry, where's the what?
To find the leak. To find the
what
leak.
question did he ask?
What question did he ask when he was looking for the leak?
I still didn't understand that word.
When he was looking for the leak.
The pipe.
Oh, the
pipe,
leak.
The leak in the pipe. What question did he ask? to get
Where's the leak in the pipe?
Oh, okay. You asked
Where's the
him.
pipe leaking?
Okay.
And they were looking, well, that pipe would carry either oil or kerosene. depending on what they were pumping that day and where it needed to go. Because it would go to a distribution valve, and depending on where it would need to go, they would have a hose running over there. It would be either kerosene, jet fuel, or lubricating oil, or gasoline. So he didn't dare ask for what it was containing, he just asked for the leak. Okay, I wouldn't go in there either. Oh, it reminds me of the joke. There was this federal DEA agent come out to the farm, this guy's farm. He's going to search for illegal drugs. The farmer says, well, there aren't any here, but go ahead, but don't go in that field. The guy says, you see this badge? That's from the federal government. It says I can go anywhere I want to go. So he takes off and goes to the field. Running for his life, being chased by a big bull. The farmer says, show him your badge. Detecting fields, energies, or edges. I'm very good at this. You can use your hand for human aura. Uncle Dan taught me how to find water, and believe it or not, that water was 5 miles away in a creek. And just like this. And I got a very faint tingling. He told me his hand felt wet. But I was 8 years old, what did I know? And I got a faint tingling. I did it a few times after that, and then I forgot about it. But from then on, I could find things. Anytime somebody in town would lose something, they'd come and get me. I'd tell them where it was. Or I'd walk over and pick it up and hand it to them. They'd walk by it 1,000 times. They'd looked at it 1,000 times. And I'd walk over and pick it up and hand it to them. My rods, you can use them to find energy. Again, you'll notice it's flipping up. Locating the edge of an energy field with the L rods, for him they cross. For me, if I'm coming up to the edge of an energy field, let's look at Margaret. Right there, that's the edge. That's number 6. That's the edge of the field. Oh, by the way, think of a time you got really, really scared. Look what happened. Your aura expanded. Now think of a time you got really, really sad. Your aura changed again. Your aura changes its dimensions according to your mood. This is using the pendulum, early warning as the instrument approaches its reaction point. Locating an underground object. Width of a pipe found by marking its edge. That's not the pipe.
It looks like a snake.
It doesn't do that. Because you're doing this kind of pattern, you'll find that edge first and then that edge. You're not finding the center line. Same thing here. The pendulum is this, and the L rods are cross. Direction or track of an object. Here we go. The Y rods I'm not very good with to determine direction. Some people, they actually feel it pull to the side. I don't. So I'm not. What they're doing actually is they're sending, it goes down when it's in the correct direction. Or you can use the pendulum, as I was showing you earlier, and as you go across you get your, from a no to a yes, or from a circle to a yes. Excuse me, my eye is running. Tracking an object with the L rods, this one's fun. He's going along, and his rods move this way. Well, he's coming up to a pipe. The pipe is running across that way. So when it switches that way, he knows his pipe, now he can go, apparently he's running parallel to it. When he gets to his object, In parallel with these objects, his rod crosses, but he's not over the object. He's just in parallel with it. Now he's got to locate where the object actually is. So you have to be careful on what you're doing and how you're doing it. If you tell yourself to run parallel to an object, it may be because you can't get over the object. It may be under a fence. If you're running parallel to it, yeah, then you know. Yes. Thank you.
I'm a slave.
Oh.
She's well trained. If you believe that, I got a bridge for sale. It's great metropolitan location, painted orange, cash, small bills, no checks. So, say this is some kind of an obstruction. It might be a wall. There's a pipe buried under a wall. You can run parallel to it and track it that way.
How tall a wall? Does it make any difference?
It's blocking the pipe. It doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
It can be a 2-foot wall, it can be a 30-foot wall.
Okay.
The pipe's under it. Directional reactions of the L rods. What's happening is they're going sideways. Directional reaction of a pendulum. What he's doing is he's got his pendulum swinging like this, and it starts swinging that way to indicate the direction. Mine doesn't work that way. My subconscious prefers I get a no until I swing, touch, and then I get a circle and a yes. But that's individual. Zigzag implying a linear object. Well, in this case, there's two of them. He's finding two of them. It could be, no, in that case, it would have to be that pattern indicates parallel objects. Yeah, I can see that, gas pipe and a water pipe. It would probably be parallel.
Well, but when it's going, are you gonna feel it at, there, it goes up and down and then it's square?
Right there, he's feeling it there, and as he crosses it, it quits.
Uh-huh.
You see, and then he feels it there, it quits there. I didn't mark it correctly. I should have put these, a dot right there on both ends. Thank you. I'll correct that one. Tracking with the pendulum, reaction and procedure and a branch of water points. Okay. You got two water lines. You're tracking with the pendulum, it's going in a circle, and you get to the point, and then all of a sudden, the pendulum says, there. It's switched up. The pendulum is swinging in a circle, and when you get to the branch, it starts going like this. Telling you there's a Y. Now which way you want to go. Tracking with L rods, reaction procedures and crossing two independent lines. You have to determine which line you want to track. This is a great one. This is the fastest way to find the depth of an object. You found the object. Okay. You mark it. You start your L rods and you start walking out. And when you get the distance equal to the distance down your rods across, and you mark it. Then you measure it. Carry a tape measure.
You have to tell it to do that?
Yep.
Okay.
What was that? Say that again, I don't understand.
Yeah.
The distance out equals the distance down.
Oh, I see. So if you're there and you wanna know how deep is
Yes.
the water,
Yes.
then you walk 10
Out.
feet and you go, okay, 10 feet down.
So if it's 130 feet, you better have 130 feet clear out that direction, because
Oh.
that's how far you're gonna walk. In western Kansas, you got a real problem. The water's 2,000 to 3,000 feet deep. Yes, ma'am.
Could you also just stand there on the spot and say, is it 10 feet down?
You can do that, but this is the Bishop rule. The
Okay.
Bishop, there was a dowser by the name of Bishop, and he found that if you walked out a certain distance, that distance was equal to the distance down to the water. They
Couldn't
used-
you just like use smaller units to deal with a situation like Kansas? Couldn't you just use smaller units?
Small units?
Smaller units.
Yeah, say an inch for every
Instead of
foot.
saying feet, say inches, or say centimeters, or something like that, that's smaller.
Inches for every foot.
Well, I suppose, but for me, the fastest way is just to ask how deep is it, and start getting your answers with the, see, we know it'll be at least 1,000 feet deep. In western Kansas, the water is so seldom above 1,000 foot. So you say, is the water above 1,000 foot? No. Is it between 1,000 foot and 2,000 feet? Yes. So then you start getting increments of, is it greater than 1,500? Nope. So between 1,000 and 1,500, you can start narrowing it down. That's how you do distance. And you can do that out here, it's 100 feet, 30 feet, whatever. Some people mark their rods. 1.5 units implies maybe 4 units in use. 1.5 units is equal to, say, 4 feet or 40 feet or 400 feet. However, you want it to, before you start, you say each of these markings represents X number of feet. And it will cross at the marking. If first one is 400 feet, second white spot, that's ground level, that's 400 feet. That's 800. 1,200. But if the water is down, say, 600 feet, the rods would cross right about there and hold. Your subconscious is very, very good at accuracy, at measuring. It loves to measure.
So your body,
indirect.
excuse me 1 minute, I'm
Yes.
just trying to grasp this. So your body knows that there's water down there and
Yep.
it's telling the rods?
Yep.
Okay.
Your subconscious is using non-conscious energy to go down and locate it. It can sense this by, we don't know how. Some people say it's electromagnetic, but if that's the case, why am I able to locate PCV pipes that are underground that don't have an electromagnetic radiation? Ain't that? So maybe it's the atomic structure of the stuff we're looking for. The subconscious knows, whatever it is. We're a lot smarter than we think we are.
Well, and plus you're connected to everything.
Yeah. And we're a lot dumber than we think we are. Here we go.
That's the conscious mind telling us that.
Yes, it is, the classic double bind. You can use your body as a scale. You can say, here, you got your pendulum or your L rod, 50 feet, no, it's greater. 100 feet, greater. 150, greater. 200 feet, there it is. So you can do this as a scale. Or logarithmic scale. I don't like logarithms. I had a son of a gun time with those things in the Air Force. Linear is easier. You're walking along. This is actually the Bishop rule. They found it right there, and he walks out that far, and it's that far down. He walks out that far, it's that far down. He walks out that far, it's that far down. I guess you'd have to be an engineer to use the logarithmic scale.
I think so.
Map dowsing. This one is fun. You can use it, that by the way, is my place. Okay. Bucknam. You put the map down and you put your finger across there and you use your indicating instrument, be it pendulum or L rod, and you start moving your finger across, and when you get to the point it'll say yes. You mark it. I used this method to find a lost child or a kidnapped child in '78. This lady came to us at Unity Church and asked us if we could help her find her kidnapped child. Her husband had taken the baby and gone to Mexico. He was Mexican. And I'm looking at this big map of Mexico, and I put a yardstick across it, and I'm coming down and get a yes, so I draw a line. Yardstick across this way, and get a guess, and draw a line. I said, right there, it's got a little village. I said, there's 2 churches. She says, it's a Mexican village, and only have 1 church. I said, there's 2 churches. That's what I got. They sent private detective in, he went in and found the baby. It was with the grandmother, the husband's mother. And there was an old ruined church at one end of town and a newer one, 1860, at the other end.
The newer one was 1860?
Huh?
The newer one was 1860?
The newer one was 1860,
Yeah, right.
the old ruin, but there were 2 churches.
Yeah. Oh, the old
How did
one.
you know there were 2 churches? How did you?
Something told me there were
Told you.
2 churches.
So you're intuitive.
All I can say is it was the high self told the subconscious to tell the idiot behind the eyeballs there's 2 churches.
What was the significance of that in terms
Huh?
of finding the child?
Because it was one of the few villages that the small church had still, the ruins were still there. Most of the time they'll take if there's blocks, they'll take them out and use them for something else.
So it was just for them to know that they were in the right place?
Yes. That's exactly why I was given that information. I had no idea why I was given that until they said there were 2 churches, and all the other villages around there, all the churches' building material had been scavenged for other buildings, the old ones that had collapsed and fallen down. Okay. Doing map dowsing here, you can use the grid method. You cross off at a grid. If you run your rod up or your yardstick up this way, or ruler, and when you get to this block, you mark it. And then you come across this way, and when you get to that one, you mark it. There it is, right there. And you can fine tune that by going up this way, and then across this way, and it'll cross right there. Map dowsing's fun. Or you can just use, take your ruler, anchor it right there, and just swing it around that way, and you'll get a yes. So you draw that line. You anchor it here, and you swing it out around that way, and you'll get a yes. And where they cross is that point. Either way. This is a map of an actual situation. They were looking for the pipe. And here was a house, this was a garden, and there was a garden wall. There was a water pipe there. This was a pipe in an exposed trench, and they were trying to find this pipe. It's been laid by an amateur. You come out from the city, out this way, down there, rock formations is what caused this. And then back up, and then back down that way. This was in England. This is a little circuit you can put together yourself. You take a battery, and you take a switch. And then you hook it up to the light bulb, so that in either case, depending on which position the switch is in, the light is always on. You douse the position of the switch. You put the switch under a box. You can't see it. It's one of these rotary switches.
Way to practice?
This is for the highly technical.
See, it does work.
This, watch.
See, that's all.
This is one of my cartoons. I made a video out of it. When the crew is fighting, no one is piloting. The conscious and the subconscious mind.
Oh. That's so true.
Oh, it's got to run its course. It's got a mind of its own.
There we go.
This is not the end. This is the beginning of a new chapter in your life. Happy dowsing. Now we can do exercises. We've got an hour and a half. What we can do is practice with the dowsing rods outside or in here. I can't read that.
It says break.
Take a break.
Hey,
You're right.
You read it now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?